Rocker Pat here. All right, guys, another hot rocking day in the jungle, and man, it is what date is it? I think it's like the 13th of it's Houston Day 713. Anyway, made a video last week on finishing up all King Dick's wiring job and everything, and well, if y'all have been paying any attention, Texas took a pretty big kick to the nut sacks last week, and yeah, even for this old grizzly bastard that I don't really give a damn if somebody gets through a hurricane or not, because, man, I've survived freaking 30 of them, must be. You know, you don't put yourself in the wrong place. But, man, these poor kids down there in that central Texas, up there in the hill country. Woo, doggy, that even makes this old asshole over here choke up a little bit. But anyway, either way, I still got out there and got it done, and now you can see somebody else is in the garage, because, you know, everybody has got to take their rotation through my world of, man, what the fuck do I need to spend money on this time, right? All right, guys, well, let's go take a look at Mr. Dick. The King is wired, and that's from the front to the back. Now, I will say, if I'll put a caveat on that one right there, and that is that I do not have the front park lamps hooked up. It takes a separate wiring harness, and I'll show you that in a second. And back here, I was just close to being able to say there's not a butt connector on this truck, but the wiring going across the back, I ended up having to throw a couple butts up in there. But let's take a look at what I did do, because I did do it the way I needed to do it. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? So up in here, the harness goes all the way to the back, and yeah, it's all loomed, it's all clipped and everything like that. Back here in the back, if you look, there's a pink wire. That's an extension for the gas gauge. I did tee it off. I don't know if we can see it, but if you look real closely, right there, there's a little pink wire hanging out in the wind, and that's where I'm going to jump her up to the actual fuel tank that's in the truck right now. Also in the harness, there's a yellow wire there that's for a fuel pump, so we got extra fuel pump wiring back here. We got backup lights back here. We got all that kind of good stuff, but what we don't have is backup lights or any of that in the truck. So, I mean, on the lens or anything. But back here, I did have to, at the jumper harness, I did have to tie in with a couple of little butt connectors to tie into the existing up harness and everything, because I wasn't ready to redo all that. I think I'm going to replace these inner parts of these tail lights. All right, well, let's take a look at what I pulled out. So this is all the crap I pulled out. I don't know what was going on here, but it was severely burned. This was going to the amp gauge. And yeah, that kind of got a little suspicious, if anything, right? Fuse panel, you know, just all the junk. This was going all the way up to the horn relay. You can see that big burned fried wire. You know, look, it burned right there. You know, I mean, this truck was just... It's lucky that we didn't have an implosion and everything. So let's take a look under the dash, because I did some fancy work up into here. I got that American Auto Wire terminal connector kit for $113 off of eBay. And yeah, that worked out really well. So let's take a look what I got. This wire hanging right here is the power to my windshield wipers, but I don't have the switch and I don't have any of the wiring for that. Yeah, there's a couple of rust holes in the old King. The King ain't well, but he's still in charge. All right, so down here, this is cigarette lighter that's hanging there, and I haven't put it in. I need one of those little L pieces that go from around, you know, let me see here. You know, that'll take it from that type of terminal to a spade, so I can plug it into the deal. Everything that's not any bare wires has something on it like this up under here. Let's see if we can get some video of this. New fuse panel in place. There's a little bit of spaghetti going on in this zone right here. This is my door locks. I mean, not door locks, but my dome light. I just haven't wired it up. I just kind of stuffed it up in there for a minute. You can forgive me a little bit. There is the turn signal stuff. Turn signals turned into a bit kind of a screwed up deal. You can see they're unplugged. I got everything done. And if you look, that brown wire right there hanging on its own with the female connector, I mean the male connector, that's the hazard. This column doesn't have hazard, but I got everything done, and I turned the key on and start the truck up, and while the key's on, then for some reason the flasher's going off, and I got 4-way flashers going on, and I shouldn't have any flashers at all. So I've diagnosed it as a crappy ass eBay turn signal switch. I should have got one from Chevrolet, or I mean not Chevrolet, but O'Reilly's. But anyway, let's see if we can look up under here. This connector right here, if you look carefully, it is to the cluster. Okay, it is a 8-way connector. I've got all 8 pins on this side and 7 on the other side. The oil pressure I don't need because I've got mechanical oil pressure. So to take the cluster out, we just unplug this. I got the right connector on the, I don't know if we can see it, on the headlight switch. I mean the headlight switch right here, and that's all working and everything. Let's see. Let me bounce you over here. And then I got the right connector on the ignition switch. Now, the crazy story on the ignition switch is if we look real carefully, there's this little bitty pink wire. These people had a 16 gauge wire going to my HEI distributor, and that wasn't going to work. So they had an extra piece of this 10 gauge that was supposed to go from the alternator over to the battery. Well, that piece just happened to be exactly long enough for me to run all the way to my HEI distributor. So I got a 10 gauge wire going up to the Sparkometer place and everything. So yeah, let's see here. Let's see if we can get it. That right there is for the air conditioning. This is the heater control. It goes up to that switch right there that's on the dash. The second wire that's just empty on this side is the AC compressor clutch. Right there I've got that's like 3 different powers right there. The yellow wire is supposed to be for door locks. It's a pretty heavy wire. The other connector is backup lamps, which I don't have. Let me see. Oh, the pink wire is cruise control, which I don't have. So they're just extra powers. The purple wires I've got going on up over here are coming out up over here. And let me get out from underneath here so we can really look at it. All right, y'all are probably bored by now, but I'm wired up on this shit. I'm all wired, boys. So this is power, and let's see, we got a power for our on all the time for the radio, and then switch for the radio, and then this is power antenna. None of it I have, but I got it here because we will fix that hole and weld something in there so I can slide me in a Kenwood. Over here, I put all new LED bulbs inside some bright ones that I have, and I got a new little cover for it, and I cleaned it all up, and that's all I did. I didn't want to paint anything. I didn't want to make it look new. I just wanted it to not burn to the freaking ground. And that's what I got. I don't have the temperature gauge working right now. It is completely wired all the way to the front. The oil pressure gauge is mechanical, which sucks. I wish somebody would tell me how to change that over to an electric, because I would love to get rid of that oil line inside the truck. And I just need to run a wire up to my gas tank to finish off the gas gauge. And we will not be using the amp meter any longer. Really wish there was a cover right here that said volts instead of, you know, and everything. Yeah, and then we could like maybe change that to a gauge that does volts maybe. But I haven't found that yet, so oh well. It is what it is. Right now the turn signals don't work. Thing I did find out is that the stupid threads on the steering shaft, of course, after, you know, 60 years, somebody's boogered them up over the years, and they're not healthy, so makes me not want to go back in there. Now, up under here, as you can see, I still got a wire hanging. That's because this harness has not been rebuilt. But over here, I've got everybody coming out. This is what I was telling you earlier. about, I need to make the harness right here, okay? But I need to make this harness first before I can do anything, and I haven't got around to it. One problem I have is I actually ran out of terminals, the right terminals I need. Not connectors, but terminals. Yeah, so he's all wired. I have been driving him around all weekend, and I'm happy to say the alternator puts out 14 or 13.5 volts. The only wire thing I need to change is right here. I've got a 50 amp circuit breaker. I need to make a little jumper, put the other circuit breaker, cut this to the right length, and yeah, I think I'm wired, baby, wired. Cooling fan still works the way it's supposed to, and yeah, I think it's ready to rockin' and rolling and rolling and rocking. Well, I can't shut that down because, yeah, happy to get that done. Now the truck is roadworthy. It might be a big pile of crap, but the king is wired. All right, guys, y'all keep rocking and rolling and rolling and rocking. I doubt anybody's made it this far. Talk to y'all next time.